Fun segment here on the program. I am ranking the top 10 offenses heading into the 2018 NFL season. Some surprises on my list here, so get ready, folks. I'll count you down from number 10 all the way to number 1. And let's start things off with the Detroit Lions. They're my number 10 team here on the list, 9-7 a year ago. So made some solid additions this past offseason, including LeGarrette Blount, Kerryon Johnson, of course, via the draft. They got the new head coach and Matt Patricia. They still have their offensive coordinator, Jim Bob Cooter, who is a pretty solid offensive mind at that. Here's the deal with Detroit. They are trying so hard to be able to pound the rock, run the football effectively, and maybe be a more balanced offense going forward. And I think they can finally get there because I have faith in this offensive line. Graham Glasgow, TJ Lang, those are solid guards. You got Ricky Wagner at right tackle as well. Of course, they got Ragnow at center, who they got via the draft as well. So for Detroit here, we know what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to not be, number one, Matt Stafford throwing the football 55 times every single game. They're trying to be a more balanced offense, number two. So I think LeGarrette Blount, Johnson will also make it a big-time impact in terms of that run game. They got Amir Abdullah as well, so I think there are pieces there for the Detroit Lions to be a more balanced offense. And that's why I got them inside the top 10 here. And let's not forget about Golden Tate and Marvin Jones. And Golden Tate, by the way, is looking for a contract extension. So we don't know if he's going to get that done before the 2018 season. Could be an OBJ situation where the extension happens after next season. So let's say he doesn't get that extension. He's playing with big-time motivation now, right? So you got Tate, you got Marvin Jones. I like them at wide receiver. And Stafford, yeah, he's not a top 10 quarterback in my eyes, but he's a top 14 quarterback, 29 touchdowns, 10 picks, and a 66 completion percentage in 2017. And the Lions are going to do what the Lions are going to do in 2018. They're going to score points, and they're going to hope that that defense can hang on. And I think they'll be in a lot of shootout type of games. We'll see how that offense kind of pans out, but I believe they will be a top 10 offense. That I can tell you. All right, let's go to number 9 here on my list. And for Niner Empire, how about this? I got the 49ers as a top 10 offense for the 2018 NFL season. I think the offensive line is coming together. You got Weston Richburg in town. Very important signing there. Some continuity at the center position because Daniel Kilgore was very inconsistent a year ago. We'll see how the guards pan out. I think Joshua Garnett is getting healthier, and he'll be a good player. Jonathan Cooper, of course, who the 49ers got from the Dallas Cowboys. But it's all about Jimmy G here. And yes, the sample size is small. 7 games total as a starter. But I feel that he is a top 10 quarterback. And he will be a top 10 quarterback in 2018. And you look at the wide receiver core for the 49ers, it's pretty good. You got Marquise Goodwin. You got Trent Taylor, who I think could be a Pro Bowler. One of those dark horse Pro Bowl candidates heading into next season. And Pierre Garçon, who has some of the best hands in the NFL. And, oh, by the way, a pretty good young tight end duo as well. So it's all just coming together here for San Francisco to be a top 10 offense for 2018. I didn't even talk about Jerick McKinnon, by the way, who I think will be a fantastic running back in the Kyle Shanahan offense. That zone blocking scheme with Weston Richburg there at center. I think he's really good in terms of his quickness, his agility, and that'll open things up for Jerick McKinnon. I'll tell you this, Jerick McKinnon will get over 1,000 yards from scrimmage in 2018. There is a very real chance he could get over 1,000 yards rushing. That's how confident I am in this 49ers offense. Now, I guess I could be drinking the 49ers Kool-Aid here, but I'll tell you this. I'm not a 49ers fan. I'm telling it like it is, Niner Empire. You're going to be a top 10 offense in 2018. I'm coming at you straight from a neutral alley here. All right, there's no bias at all. In fact, there's never bias on the Cam Rogers Show. I tell you like it is. The 49ers will be a top 10 offense in the NFL for the 2018 season. All right, let's get to number 8 here on my list, previewing this coming season. And we got the Green Bay Packers here. This one I'm not so confident about because, yeah, there's Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, there's Jimmy Graham. But I'm not the most confident player in the world with Randall Cobb and maybe Devontae Adams too. A lot of people like to call Devontae Adams Julio Jones 2.0 there. But this is about Aaron Rodgers, and he's an MVP favorite as we stand. The recent Vegas odds actually have Aaron Rodgers as the favorite to capture the Most Valuable Player award. I am excited to see how Jamal Williams performs at the running back position in his year 2. If he can really take hold of that backfield there, I'll tell you what, the Packers are going to make noise. And the Packers are going to be a very effective offense in 2018. Now, there has been some changes there to the offensive line, and I do have my concerns at guard in particular. But in terms of Aaron Rodgers, when he's on the run, there is nobody better. And maybe Ben Roethlisberger and Russell Wilson are a little better ad-libbers, but Rodgers is up there as well in terms of creating plays while on the run. So I've got the Green Bay Packers checking in at number 8 on my list. Let's go to number 7 now, and I've got the champs, the Philadelphia Eagles. And for Philadelphia here, it's simple. It's Carson Wentz, right? Carson Wentz is coming back off an injury. I understand that, but he had an MVP type of campaign before that injury went down. And it may be a bit of a slow process here for Carson Wentz to get back from injury and kind of get back into the NFL fray, if you will. He has talked about how he doesn't need to play in any preseason games, which, number one, I think is a little insane, Carson. You should probably get some reps underneath your belt there. But the Philadelphia Eagles here, they got a great offensive line. And you guys know I'm an offensive line enthusiast, and the Eagles have one of the best in the game. Jason Peters at left tackle. You got Brandon Brooks at guard as well. You got Jason Kelsey at center too. So really a fantastic front five there. And I think the Philadelphia Eagles will have some pretty good production from their tight ends as well. Richard Rodgers is there. Zach Ertz. And oh, by the way, they drafted Dallas Goedert as well. So not a bad tight end core either. So Philadelphia is going to be a top 10 offense. I'm not going to be a top 5, though, according to my rankings. All right, let's go to number 6 on my list, talking about one of the more balanced rosters in the National Football League, the Atlanta Falcons. And for Atlanta here, yes, they lost Taylor Gabriel. He's no longer in town. I understand that. But they have Calvin Ridley. They got a good offensive line there with Alex back. They got Levitre. They got Fusco there at guard, too. So it's a good offensive line. I think they're going to give Matt Ryan some good pass protection. Now, Matt Ryan cannot get complacent here with the big, fat contract that he got over the offseason. He can't turn into Joe Flacco. And Joe Flacco's my boy, and I love him to death. I know, by the way, I did say earlier there is no bias on the Cam Show unless it's about the Ravens and Joe Flacco. So, yes, Matt Ryan's going to have to combat that. He's going to have to continue to perform well. But here's the thing. Steve Sarkisian has no excuses for the Falcons to struggle next season. Now, Sark did not do very well with this Falcons offense in 2017. And he had the same cast of characters in 2017 as Shanahan had in 2016. So Sark has to figure it out here as the offensive coordinator, and if he does, the Falcons are going to be really balanced and really good. There's Coleman there at running back. There's Freeman at running back as well. And I mentioned Julio Jones, who, of course, is like one of the top 5 wide receivers in the NFL. So it's all there for a compelling argument that the Falcons will be a top 10 offense heading in to the 2018 season, or for the 2018 season, I should say. So there you go. Let's go to the next team on my list here. I've got the LA Chargers. This could be a little controversial, and I understand if maybe some people are gasping as they see this graphic right here. But let me pose the argument, please. I am confident in this offensive line, number one. They have Mike Pouncey at center, who I think could be the best center the Chargers have had the last 5 years, 4 years or so. So you got that. You got Dan Feeney and Forrest Lamp, a couple of young guards there. Hunter Henry, I think, is in for a big-time breakout campaign at the tight end position. Antonio Gates is not coming back. Now, Gates is still trying to play in the NFL, and we'll see where he goes, but he ain't coming back to the Chargers. And so in that regard, there's opportunity there for Hunter Henry to make a big-time splash in that offense for the Chargers. There's Melvin Gordon as well. There's Keenan Allen. There's Travis Benjamin. There's Mike Williams, by the way, who the Chargers drafted not too long ago. And Williams, of course, didn't play in a lot of games last year, really didn't make much of an impact, so we'll see what he can do in 2018. But the pieces are there for the Chargers to be an effective offense, and I'm thinking that they'll have a pretty solid 2018 campaign on that side of the ball. Also on the defensive side, by the way, Melvin Ingram, Joey Bosa, all those guys, good players there on that defensive side. All right, so the Chargers are there at number 5. How about number 4? Here you go, Patriots fans, New England. And this may be generous. Okay, more bias coming out of the Cam Rogers show right now. But I will say, Tom Brady here, an effective quarterback, and the reigning MVP. So what can you say about Tom Brady without talking for the next hour? He's Tom Brady, okay? He's going to be fine with whatever wide receiving cast is there. Yes, there's Julian Edelman coming back from injury, and maybe there's some concerns there. But I really actually like this running back core that they have. Even though it's a little crowded, and I really didn't understand the Sony Michel drafting there. But he is there now, and he will be a good running back for the Patriots. There's Rex Burkhead, too. There's James White, who is a really good receiving running back for Tom Brady. So all of the pieces are there in that backfield for the Patriots to be effective. And, yes, the New England Patriots did lose Brandon Cooks and Danny Amendola. Don't think that's really a big issue. They still got Rob Gronkowski. Now, if they lost Gronk, by the way, to retirement or via trade or whatever, probably would have put the Patriots like lower towards 7. Not the case. They're at number 4 on my list. Let's go to number 3 here for my top 10 NFL offenses entering the 2018 season. I've got the Pittsburgh Steelers here. It's all about the killer bees, folks. It's Ben, it's Bell, it's Brown. And that trio is more compelling than any other quarterback, wide receiver, running back trio, trifecta, if you will, in the NFL. So Le'Veon Bell is going to be playing on the franchise tag. Most likely, the Steelers can work out a long-term deal by the July 16th deadline. So we'll see what happens there. But Bell is one of the great running backs in the NFL. Antonio Brown, a top 2 wide receiver in this league. If not, he is the best wide receiver in the NFL. So all the pieces are there. You got Juju Smith-Schuster, who I think is coming off a very solid 2017 campaign as well. And I'll say this about Martavis Bryant, maybe addition by subtraction. With him no longer on the team there, it seemed like previously he was a bit of a distraction for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So maybe with him gone, that kind of helps things from a chemistry standpoint on that offensive side. So I've got the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 3, and I think they will make some noise in 2018 as they always do. Now, I will say this, Ben Roethlisberger will out of nowhere have his 4-interception game and maybe whine about it in the post-game press conference. But other than that, the Steelers will be a top 5 offense. That I can confidently say. All right, let's go to number 2 here on my list. We'll go to the NFC side of things, and the New Orleans Saints check in at this slot here. And I like the offensive line a lot. And you know who I like a lot who is emerging into maybe a top 7 wide receiver in the NFL? Michael Thomas. This guy had an elite campaign last year according to Pro Football Focus. So this isn't me saying that. This is PFF saying that Michael Thomas was an elite wide receiver last year. So I think he's a big-time part of that offensive side there at wide receiver. Then you got the run game with Mark Ingram, with Alvin Kamara. The rookie offensive player of the year in Alvin Kamara, right? So here's the beauty of the New Orleans Saints. They can win in 2 different facets of the NFL game. One, if it's a shootout, you got Drew Brees, you got Brandon Coleman, you got Michael Thomas. You got the ability to score points in bunches. 2, if you want to run the rock and have a balanced offense and do your thing there, you can, because you have Ingram, you have Kamara, and you have a good offensive line. And let Drew Brees sit back and throw the football 20, 25 times, and mostly on play action. So that's why I like the Saints a lot here. That's why I got them at number 2 in my rankings. And then finally, the number 1 offense here for the 2018 NFL season, the Los Angeles Rams. And you guys are probably saying to yourselves, huh, what? Well, let me tell you this. They were the number 1 scoring offense a year ago. And now, continuing that momentum into 2018, heck, why not put them at number 1? All right? It's kind of like putting the Eagles at number 1 in your power rankings because they just won the Super Bowl. All right? That makes sense. All right? So same deal here with the Rams. So why? Todd Gurley, Offensive Player of the Year a year ago. Guy's a fantastic running back. Robert Woods, who's on your screen right now, big-time spark plug at the wide receiver position. You got Cooper Kupp as well. I like the offensive line. And sure, the defense might actually outshine the offense in 2018 just because that defense is so loaded with the cornerbacks that they have and the defensive line, of course, with Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh. But the offense is going to be really good, too. I like the young tight ends as well. And for the LA Rams here, Sean McVay, the job that he has done has just been absolutely unbelievable. And I think he will continue that momentum in 2018. I am sipping on the Rams hype a little bit right now, and that's okay because there is a compelling argument to make that they will be the top offense in 2018. So what do you guys think? Which NFL offense will be number one next season? Hit me up in the reaction poll. Patriots, Saints, Steelers, or Rams, or is there another team out there? I'm sure Niners fans out there will think 49ers. Hit me up in the comment section if your team is not visible on your screen there. But there you go, the rundown with my top 10 NFL offenses for 2018. Let's summarize the list, by the way, here as we kind of go through. And if you just jumped on the Cam Rogers Show, we'll take a look back at the teams and how they all stack up here. And we'll start things off with my rankings of 6 through 10, or actually we'll go 1 through 5 to start things off here. I want to go through the top 5. So number 1, of course, the LA Rams there. You got the Saints at number 2, then the Steelers, the Patriots at 4, and we got the Chargers there at number 5. And then 6 through 10 we go. Couple of interesting ones here. Falcons, Eagles, the Green Bay Packers are there. 49ers check in at number 9, and then the Detroit Lions at number 10 on my list for the top 10 NFL offenses.